Charlie died, and Chance died, and Curran died, and Camden died, and Connor died, and Ted died, and Maddie died. And since the pandemic, we've had at least 3 more children die.
Child deaths with a common thread. Dresser tipovers, tragedies Crystal Ellis says should have been prevented.
And this is probably hard to reconcile, but if the federal government would have done a better job, your son
would be alive.
Just days away from Camden Ellis's 2nd birthday, Crystal put him down to sleep in his bed just a few steps away from his new IKEA Malm dresser. What happened next in the middle of the night might be hard for you to hear.
But he leaned into the 2nd drawer to pull clothes out of the drawers, as many toddlers do. And as he leaned in to the 2nd drawer, the 1st drawer came out and trapped him between the 2 drawers. And as that happened, he fell and the whole dresser pinned him to the floor.
On Father's Day 2014, Camden Ellis became one of the names on the list. Killed when he was trapped by a type of product the federal government and the Consumer Product Safety Commission, or CPSC, knew could be dangerous.
We had no idea. We had no idea.
For years before Camden's death, the agency warned generally of furniture tipovers. It publicly reported in 2006 that over a 5-year period, it knew of 65 furniture-related deaths. Its advice to parents: make sure furniture is stable or attach pieces to the floor or wall. But dressers like the one Camden was trapped in remained on the market with voluntary safety guidelines that turned out weren't being followed.
This is bureaucracy at its worst.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not fair that I could lose a child again and find out in hindsight that the CPSC knew that the product that I had in my home was very imminently dangerous.
Our national investigative team found the CPSC is often slow to alert the public to dangers, partially because the laws in place allow companies to dictate how and when most recalls happen.
So, for example, with product safety recalls, there's this dynamic where it's not until usually it's the press release is finally negotiated and all the terms are worked out, that finally there's information communicated to the public. But it really gives a lot of the regulated firms the upper hand because they're controlling ultimately the flow of information.
It's rare for the agency to warn the public about a dangerous product without the manufacturer's consent. According to our analysis, since 2000, the agency has only issued 12 warnings for specific products without that consent, 8 of those the past 2 years. The year after Camden Ellis's death, the CPSC and IKEA issued a warning telling consumers to anchor the dresser to the wall, with the company launching a repair kit program. But still no recall.
After my son died, you know what they got? An education campaign, where if you called them, they would send you an anchoring kit.
Then in 2016, after a 3rd death, IKEA agreed to a recall of 29 million dressers for the Malm and other models. The reason? While the company included anchoring hardware to affix the dressers to the wall, the company said its furniture didn't meet voluntary safety standards. IKEA's was just one of 18 recalls of dressers in the last decade, meaning millions and millions of customers bought furniture from different stores that should be returned or fixed. Here's where critics say the next problem comes in. Recall procedures don't incentivize customers to return defective products or companies to aggressively publicize the announcements.
If they want every person in the world to know about their product, they'll spend the money to get there. The day they find out their product is unsafe, they have no idea how to reach people.
In fact, IKEA and the CPSC ended up re-announcing the recall in 2017, with the death toll tied to the company's dressers now at 8 children.
The recall was so ineffective that children continued to die because they didn't hear about the recall.
Last year, the family of one of the children killed in an IKEA dresser tip-over received a $46 million settlement after they claimed they weren't alerted about the recall. Even today, of the 8 million recalled Malm dressers, IKEA told us in an email that fewer than 2 million customers have returned or requested fixes for their furniture. And now, 5 years after the second recall, plenty of these dressers made before the recall are for sale on the internet through the secondary market. We bought one in Ohio for $50.
I can safely say that the way that recalls are enforced right now, there's just no way to make people aware.
Crystal Ellis turned her grief into advocacy.
I know that he's helping me. I know that he is saying, "Mommy, look what this does." You know, that take that, run with it, and use your voice and save the others.
Pushing both Congress and the CPSC to create strong safety standards to prevent furniture tip-overs.
The whole process, as we know, of bureaucracy is red tape, red tape, red tape, red tape.
And in order for the agency to move forward on a regulation from the beginning to the end, it could take decades because there are obstacles embedded in the process that make it so incredibly hard for the agency to successfully complete that process.
The CPSC announced this year that it soon would approve a new mandatory safety standard for all clothing storage units to prevent tip-overs. The agency said that since 2000, 56,000 children have been injured when a dresser fell onto them. 193 have died. Crystal Ellis said many of those children may be alive today if the CPSC had acted sooner.
Like I said, you don't even know that this system is a problem until you have to encounter it firsthand in the middle of tragedy and grief.